A lot of horror films use humor to alleviate that intense feeling of terror one experiences while watching. Then there are films that don't do that and make the viewer wallow in the dread and drama with no chance to let those feelings go. And that's what this 8th level of the Best in Horror Countdown 2023 through 2024 does masterfully. At number 8 is the most disturbing and shocking film I've seen this year. You might not believe me, but I encourage you to go in blind to feel the full impact of this one. At number 8 is The Coffee Table, aka La MESITA del COMEDOR. It was released on April 15th, 2024, and is available on demand from Cinephobia Releasing. It's directed by Caye Casas and written by Caye Casas and Cristina Borobia. Feeling as if he has not had any say in anything since he married his wife Maria, played by Estefania de los Santos, Jesus, played by David Pareja, demands that he pick out a gaudy coffee table to feel as if he's still able to make decisions of his own. Having just given birth to a baby boy, Maria relents and lets him get the table. This banal act proves to be the most devastating decision of Jesus' life. The coffee table at first seems harmless, but man, is this film one sneaky rat bastard. It lures you in, making you feel sympathetic towards Jesus, who seems to be a good man despite the fact that he does get pushed around a lot by all of the people in his life. His wife is overbearing, he is bamboozled by the furniture salesman to buy the shoddy coffee table, and to make matters worse, the 13-year-old neighbor girl is in love with him and threatens to out their fictional relationship to his wife. All of this, plus Jesus is not certain he is ready to be a father, is quite a load to bear. Still, Jesus goes with the flow nevertheless. It paints a very sympathetic picture of the guy, and actor David Pareja sells this lovable loser with every step. The fact that you like Jesus is critical for what is to come at about the 20-minute mark of The Coffee Table. And no, you aren't prepared for it. And no, I'm not going to spoil it here. Just know that you're going to be hit with a punch so hard, you're going to think that Mike Tyson directed it. While the setting is a common apartment in a common home, writer-director Caye Casas and her co-writer Cristina Borobia were able to make the most mundane of environments the setting of pure nightmare. It takes your worst fears and makes them real in the most human of ways. The coffee table transforms into a grueling, tension-laden freight train for the duration of the movie. While you know there will be an unavoidable point in the film where the truth is revealed, Casas draws this suspense out to immeasurable lengths. Through Casas' direction and Pareja's acting, you feel every bead of sweat and every ounce of regret that fills every moment of this movie. Not only do you feel so horrified by what you witness, but you regret the inevitable moment when the cat has to be let out of the bag. What culminates in the climax is a perfect play with expectations, stretching your emotions to their limits, and grounding its heel into your heart at what the family must inevitably experience. The Coffee Table is not a monster movie. It's no slasher or found footager or kaiju or possession flick. It's the horror of being human, making mistakes, and having the strength to deal with them. It's one of the most disturbing films I've seen this year in that it burrows deep into honest emotions that you may not be comfortable with. I guarantee you will not forget this white-knuckle shocker from Spain. Another film that envelops you in absolute dread was Handling the Undead, a festival darling that was finally released in the spring. Handling the Undead, aka Håndtering of udøde, was released on May 31st, 2024, and is streaming on Hulu from Neon Films. It's directed by Thea Hvistendahl and written by Thea Hvistendahl and John Ajvide Lindqvist from a novel by John Ajvide Lindqvist. Man, I probably butchered those. No one knows why, but the dead begin to rise in a small Norwegian community. But instead of the world devolving into chaos, 3 grieving families slowly and quietly deal with the possibility that their recently deceased loved ones have returned. I lost my own father when I was a kid, and I think this is a common dream for those who lose someone at a young age, but I often have vivid dreams of my father simply showing up at breakfast one day as if he hadn't died at all. This is always a dream I wake from with a deep feeling of unease, as I have gone through the process of accepting he wouldn't be a part of my life anymore, but still, there is this irrational sliver of hope that someday, somehow, I will have some kind of interaction with this important figure in my life again. Handling the Undead deals with that broad spectrum of uncomfortable feelings by splitting its time evenly, cutting between 3 families dealing with the ramifications of the return of their loved ones. A family whose mother died in a car crash are relieved when all of a sudden her dead body seems to come back to life in the hospital. A grieving grandfather and mother are shocked to find their young boy alive when they hear rumblings coming from his recently buried casket. And an elderly woman is shocked to find her recently deceased partner simply showing up at her doorstep. Handling the Undead deals with this uncomfortable feeling of the grieving process interrupted by the possibility that the loved one hasn't died after all. And a thorough analysis of how we react to death does not make for the most hilarious of movies. Everything is handled in the most serious of ways through a morose, static, and washed-out lens. Handling the Undead doesn't pull its punches and forces the viewer to accept these intense emotions whether they want to or not. One is never given an opportunity to laugh, or even when the grieving families might feel positive feelings seeing their loved ones again, there's still an ever-present dire tone to it all. Those who have returned from the grip of death are not the same people who the living once knew. They come back stiff, silent, and disoriented, unable to show love back to those who they return to. There does seem to be a vague notion the Undead have of their past lives as they are drawn back to their loved ones, but they're unable to express anything else. The stories play out as heartbreaking as one could imagine. First, each family member is shocked and ecstatic to see their loved ones again, ignoring the fact that the Undead are not acting like they once did. But as time goes on, this magic fades, and we're left with that dangling feeling of, what do we do now? And once the answer comes, it is equally devastating. I don't want to give away anything, but this film soon devolves into a palpable horror film, even though it takes its sweet time to get there, and it wrecked my soul after watching. There's a scene of animal death that I wish I could unsee. If you're depressed or have recently lost a loved one, Handling the Undead is not a film I would recommend for you. It's a film that left me in such a dark place, I had to take a break from horror for a little while. The feelings this dark film drudges up are not comfortable, but they do feel necessary. It deals with the complicated emotions evolved in taking care of a loved one who can no longer return that love, and asks questions about why we keep loved ones, sickly relatives, and even terminally diagnosed animals around, even though they are no longer the beautiful souls we once knew. Is it selfish to keep an animal in pain alive if it means saving us from the pain of experiencing the death of a loved one? And where is that line indicating that death is more of a relief for all than the burden of ongoing care? I don't know the answers to these questions, and through my life, I've had to make these hard decisions about pets, only to long for one more minute with these lost souls. It's human to fear death and try to avoid it, but it's inhuman to prolong suffering and push back the inevitable. Those are the utterly serious issues Handling the Undead deals with in a mature and deft way. This is a sophisticated film dealing with uncomfortable yet unavoidable truths about life and death. I just warn you to prepare yourself if you take a chance with this tragically beautiful yet harrowing film. Once again and always, feel free to agree, disagree, or how about you play along at home and give me your own picks for your favorite horror movies. It's October, so let's talk horror. Come back tomorrow for the next level in the Best in Horror Countdown. Be sure to hit all of those pertinent bells and whistles down below, and you'll never miss a post. Happy Halloween, folks. Please do me a favor and punch that like button down below. Share this video with all of your social media addicted pals. Click subscribe to this channel, and ring that bell for notifications. You're doomed to live the life you're meant to be, stuck inside You're doomed. Oh, you're doomed. You're doomed. Live the life that you are meant to be. Live inside.